Hi there. In this video, we're going to go over some getting started basics with EdPuzzle. If you don't know much about EdPuzzle, EdPuzzle is a free tool that allows you to take a pre-made video like ones from YouTube or the Khan Academy, or even upload a video that you've made, and then you can add features to it like voiceover, notes, and questions. And it allows you, kind of like they show on their homepage, to reinforce accountability. So you can see how long students were watching the video. You can also set up the video and assign it to students where they can't skip ahead. So you can kind of engage them in that learning because they can rewatch or watch as many times as they need. And then there are also questions and voiceover and other elements that make students engage with what they're learning. So we're going to jump in today. I'm at edpuzzle.com. I have been in EdPuzzle before, so the first time that you go in, you're going to click that sign up button. I'm going to click login. I'm going to say I'm a teacher, and then in my district, we sign in with Google. Now, the first time that you go to sign in as a teacher, it will ask you to find your school district and to find your school. And you're going to see over on the left here, I have my school district. This is where you would see your school. And this just allows you to have a place where you can access videos that other teachers in your school have created. There is a little bit of a limit with the free account, so you can check out those details at edpuzzle.com. So now we are in our EdPuzzle space here, and it gives us on our first page here where our videos are or where we can create videos. But we're actually going to go to the top right-hand corner, and we're going to start with the My Classes tab. So creating classes allows you to assign videos to a group of students. You do have a few options here, and actually let me move my little face over here to the left so you can see. So on my class list here, these are a list of all the classes I've ever created, but at the bottom, and for you if you don't have a class, you'll see it right away, you can add a new class. And when you go to add a new class, you have a couple options. You can just create a class that exists on EdPuzzle. So you would name the class and then you would give students a link or a code to go to EdPuzzle to sign up. You also have built into EdPuzzle a Google Classroom integration. And what that means is it will pull the roster, so your class list, from Google Classroom into EdPuzzle so that students are automatically enrolled in EdPuzzle when they click that link, they sign in, and then they're in based on the fact that they're in your Google Classroom. A third option that you can explore if you just search on EdPuzzle's help page is if you use an LMS like Canvas, there is another integration option to where you do all of your work to assign the videos actually inside of Canvas, and it pulls your Canvas roster. So that's also another option. I'm just going to create a normal class. I'm not going to link with Google Classroom here, and I will just call this my English 2 class. We can add a description if we want. Two options here, classic or open. Almost all of the time you're going to choose classic. Open is an option if you don't want students to create an EdPuzzle account. They're just going to put a name in it. It's just that time they're in the session. So that's really good if you are teaching younger levels. If you have it as a station rotation, maybe just set up on some iPads or on some Chromebooks in your class, that open class is awesome for that. And there's more information you can find in EdPuzzle if you just search for open class. They kind of tell you what an open class is. But again, most of the time you're just going to choose the classic style class. Okay, so we're going to click on Create Class here, and then it's going to make our class. Now, in this page, you're going to see that there is an Invite Students section. Because I'm not linked with Google Classroom or with an LMS like Canvas, I'm going to click Invite Students, and then I can tell students to go to edpuzzle.com and put in this code, or I can grab this link here and send it to students. Our students in our district log in with Google, and that's how their account is created. It's an approved website that they can use. It meets privacy policy and all of that. So that is how we approach it. So you could just give this link to your students, put it on Classroom, give them the code, and they can get in. Right now, though, there's nothing for them to do. I don't have any assignments in here. So now I need to move over. We're going to skip past gradebook. We'll talk about that briefly in a little bit. But we're going to move over to content. So the content section is where you can see any videos that are yours. So on the left-hand side here, if I click My Content, that's how I can get back into any videos that I've ever made, assigned, or used. Or down here at the bottom, I can go to a channel. So EdPuzzle are videos that teachers have already added elements to, or I can jump down to a specific section. Or at the top, I can simply search. So if I just want to search for a video about, let's say we're talking about the hero's journey, I can look through, and here under my EdPuzzle section, these are going to be, again, any videos that teachers have already added elements to, and I can use those and edit it and make it my own. So this one, for example, has 7 questions or notes already built in. So if I want to just use theirs and edit it, I can do that. Or if I want to scroll down, you'll notice under YouTube, these are the Hero's Journey YouTube videos that I can use. They don't have any questions in them yet. I would add those questions in, and I can click to see even more. So I'm just going to grab one here that doesn't have any questions. This is a great one from TED Talks, or EdTed, so I'm going to use this one. So when it loads like this, I can click play to watch it just to get a sense of what it's about. Or if I'm ready to add some elements to it, down here in the right-hand corner, I'm going to click on my edit button. And in EdPuzzle, there are really 3 main sections here. So at the top, the first one is cut. Cut allows you to trim off the beginning or end of the video. So if you want to shorten that video up a bit, you can do that here. And that's really simple. You just take it and drag it, and it starts loading. It takes a little bit to load, and then you click Add Cut to do that. So that allows you to take a little bit off the beginning or the end if you want. Moving over to voiceover. Okay, if you haven't used EdPuzzle in a while, they have made the addition where you can have multiple voiceovers. So it used to be you recorded a voiceover and it stripped all of the audio off of the video and allowed you to go over that video with your own voice. So maybe someone has demonstrated how to perform a math problem and they have it's really nice, it looks good, and you just want to record over it with your own voice explaining it so that your students can hear you, which is really good practice. That might be an opportunity to use it. But how voiceover works now, which is awesome, is I can just do voiceover in little sections that I want to do voiceover. So that means I take my cursor here and I am under the video and I can watch and figure out where I want that little voiceover to go. Okay, and I put my cursor there and then I click start recording. It's going to strip all of the audio out of the background so students will only hear my voice for however long I record that voiceover section. So I just click start recording. Remember that this is the section of the hero's journey where they are facing a great struggle. Okay, and again, for that little section, I can listen, delete, re-record. That little part of the video, students will not hear what's going on in the background or anything else that people are saying. It will just be my voice. All right, we're going to move on to questions. This is really where the meat of what EdPuzzle can do is. So we can add multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, and we can also add notes, which means we can add text, and we can do voice recordings. The difference between a question and a voiceover is the video will pause for the students, and when it pauses, there will be a pop-up for students to answer the multiple choice question, the open-ended question, or to listen or read a note that you've left. And you can add multiple questions to one point. So it's all about where do you want it to stop. So if I was making this video, maybe before the video even begins, I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to pull that timeline back to the very beginning of the video. And maybe here I want to ask an open-ended question. Really nice. It comes with, let me move over here. Really nice. It comes with these great editing features. So I can add in if I want an image or a link to something, which is great. Maybe I'm going to say, what do you already know about the hero's journey? And then I could put a link. Check out our notes that we took already on the hero's journey to help you answer if I wanted to do that. So here's my open-ended question. I'm going to click save. It's going to add that question now to this point. So here we see, there's my little question. Okay, it's that little bubble right there. And my question is saved right there on that point. Now I'm going to go in and maybe I'm going to, let's see, let's fast forward a bit here. And I want to ask him a question here. So now I'm going to add a multiple choice question on this point. We can move the question if we need to. And here I'm going to ask the question, is the hero's journey? Okay, so then I can say true or false. And then here I can also say what answers should be correct or incorrect. So there's some auto grading. Again, notice you can put links in. You can put feedback, meaning if you want to say after they viewed it, if it's right or wrong and why. So if I want to say, yes, it is, check out these notes, and then I can put a link in there so they can see that. I can also add additional answer choices if I want. So maybe it's check all that apply out of 4 or 5. You can do all of that. It's graded automatically, which is great. So you just put the green check mark for the correct answers and the red X for the incorrect answers. And then you're going to click save on there. And then it continues on. So again, it's building our questions. You can also see on the left-hand side here, it's a little log of what's going on in our video, so we can see where those questions are, and we can click to jump to those questions as well. So you kind of have that option there. And then as we move on, let's look at our final option, and that is to leave a note. I love this, especially if you're using someone else's video. It allows your voice as the teacher to be heard. So when we add a note in, it can be a pop-up just to make connections to what you've talked about in class, or maybe the video doesn't explain something in the way that you think is important. So here you can type notes, add in links, but you also have this wonderful voice note feature as well, which just makes it easier for you to have your voice heard over that video. So you just click and then you can add that video audio note in there. All of your changes that you're making are saved automatically in your draft. So if I needed to leave right now, I could leave and then come back to this video under my content. But once I'm finished, up here at the top, I'm going to press the finish button. It's going to let me, again, if I need to go back in and edit or make changes, I can. I see what's inside of the video. And then I'm going to go to my assign button. And this is where I'm going to assign it to my class. So I just made my English 2 class in here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check it. I'm going to assign it to all the students that are in there. Now you do have these options, which is pretty cool. So you can have it be available at a certain date. You can put a due date on it. Preventing skipping. That means that students cannot skip ahead on the video. It blocks them from doing that. If you want to choose closed captioning on, you can. Now, if I've selected here, you'll see it's kind of grayed out for me. If I've selected a class that's linked with Google Classroom, I can also click this button that will make it an assignment right on my Google Classroom for me, which is pretty cool. So I can do that as well. Then I'm going to click my assign button, and now that video will show up under my classes, and here is where I can see if my students have watched the video or participated in that video. So let's take a look at it from the student perspective. Okay, so I'm going to go into my classes. Here's my class. Right now, I don't have any students in it. Remember, this is the one I created. So I'm going to click on that Invite Students button, and I'm going to take this link. Okay, and I'm going to hop over to a student account here. Okay, so here's the student account. The student gets the link from wherever, email, or you post it, has the code, and this is what it looks like from the student perspective. So here in our district, again, we log in with Google, so the student's going to log in with Google here. Click their account. And then, okay, it says you've been invited to the class. You click join class, and there's that video to watch. So then as the student, I go in, I watch the video here. I'll press play on the video, and right away, there's that first question I had. Video stops playing. What do you already know about the hero's journey? They don't know much. Submit. Okay, and then I can keep watching that video and engaging as a student. Let's pop back over now to the teacher side of things. Okay, and automatically I can see my student here in my class. I can go back to my video. I can kind of see where my students are. So even live, I can see that this one student has not turned it in yet. Okay, and they've only started watching that video. So let's jump over one last time to a class that actually has some answers in it, or some work in it. Okay, so just to show you what it looks like, and this is a class that I have with teachers in it, so these are teachers and not students, but so I can quickly see who's watched the video, who's turned it in, when they watched it. If I click on those students' names, so this is just one assignment, I can see how many times they watched each section of it, when they started and ended, their answers to questions. I can leave feedback on those, and all of that's right there. It's also in the gradebook if I want to check out there my assignments. I can flip down from class to class and take a look at grading there. One final note that goes beyond a little bit of the basics with EdPuzzle is that back on that content page on the left-hand side under My Content, you do have the ability to add your own content. So if I use a program by, let's say, Loom or Screencastify, I can download the videos that I create, and then I can go to Add Content and upload a video. So I can add my own video that I've made and add in those questions, add in the text, prevent students from skipping ahead. And then I can just see if they've watched it. So it allows me to manage that part of it. So this was a quick getting started with EdPuzzle. EdPuzzle has a great resource section as well. If you need any help or need any additional tips, you can check out their help section as well.